Guys, Google just released the Gemini Omni and it is wild. Here's a full breakdown of the model. Let's watch this video. Babe, I'm recording. I'm so sorry, guys. Let's watch the video. Why are you laughing?
Hold on.
So Google just dropped Gemini Omni, and this is basically Nano Banana, but for video. You can take any input, images, audio, text, even existing video, and turn it into fully editable scenes with realistic physics and motion. And the crazy part is, you can edit everything through conversation, just like you do with Nano Banana for images. So today, I'm going to give you a full breakdown of Gemini Omni, exactly what this model is, and what it's actually capable of doing. We're also going to look at a few examples comparing Google Omni directly against Seedance 2, just to see which model actually comes out on top. We'll go through some of the best use cases for this model, and I'm also going to show you the absolute best place to access and use it. Alright, let's jump right in. First up, let's go through the official Gemini Omni blog from Google just to get a better understanding of this model and see what they are trying to achieve. The main feature they are promoting here is that you can edit videos simply through conversation. Basically, Gemini gives you an easier way to edit videos using natural language. They're trying to market this as a model that can handle VFX style shots, which, as we know, is a hugely complex part of video editing. If this model can actually do what it claims, it is going to be massive for AI filmmaking. Now, they've provided us with a few official examples, like this one right here. In this clip, they first generated a video of a violinist playing a song, then they prompted the Omni model to transport the violinist into an entirely new environment. By providing the model with a reference image of a grassy field, you can see that it successfully transported the violinist, transforming the background to match that specific image perfectly. Next, they prompted the model to make the violin invisible, and here, as you can see, it successfully made the instrument completely vanish. After that, they asked it to change the camera angle to look over the violinist's shoulder, and it nailed that too. So, it's clear they are heavily promoting this as a video editing model, rather than just a pure video generation model. This might explain why its raw generation quality isn't quite as good as Seedance 2. Google also states that Omni is deeply grounded in Gemini's world knowledge. Essentially, Gemini Omni doesn't just build scenes that look real, it reasons about what should realistically happen next. It combines an intuitive understanding of physics with Gemini's knowledge of history, science, and cultural context. This bridges the gap between raw photorealism and meaningful storytelling. They claim Omni has an improved, intuitive understanding of physical forces, like gravity, kinetic energy, and fluid dynamics, allowing you to create much more realistic scenes. They then provided this example of a ball rolling. Now, I wouldn't say this is particularly impressive, since VO 3.1 can already do this very easily, but anyway, we are going to test how good this model actually is later in the video, because let's be honest, these official examples might just be cherry-picked. Now let's look at a few direct comparisons between Google Gemini Omni and Seedance 2. This first example is from an AI enthusiast named Ratul Ali. Let's watch the video. Looking at this, we can clearly see that the Seedance 2 model is just flat out better than Gemini Omni when it comes to action and fight scenes. The fight scene from Seedance 2 is insanely cinematic, while the video from Gemini Omni feels very much like older VO 3.1 footage. Keep in mind, cinematic fight scenes are not Google Omni's strong suit. However, I really thought it would at least be a step up from VO 3.1, but the footage generated by Omni just looks exactly like a standard VO 3.1 output. Here's another comparison of Gemini Omni versus Seedance 2. This example comes from an AI filmmaking expert named AI Rapper. Both of these videos are in an anime style. First, let's watch the video generated by Google Omni. After watching that, you can clearly see that it's just not very cinematic, and the physical movement isn't natural at all. In the Google blog, they promised that the physics would be great, but even in a stylized anime format, the character's movement feels completely stiff. Now let's look at the video generated by Seedance 2. As you can see, the movement is so much more fluid and natural, and even the facial expressions on the character feel much more authentic to the anime style, which is great to see. Overall, Seedance 2 easily takes the win here. From these two examples, you'll notice that Seedance 2 consistently outperforms Google Omni in generation. Now, a lot of people argue that we are comparing the wrong aspects here, since conceptually, these are two entirely different tools. One is specifically designed for video editing, like Nano Banana, while the other is built for purely cinematic video generation. That said, I still think Gemini Omni should at least surpass Veo 3.1 in quality, but even then, it falls a bit short. We've already seen advanced video editing models like 2.5, so we should expect a tech giant like Google to at least compete with the top models coming out of China. Alright, now let's get into the absolute best place to use Google Omni. To do that, we need to head over to Google Flow. Once you're on the Google Flow homepage, just click on Create with Google Flow, and it will take you to a workspace page like this. Let's go ahead and create a new project. After starting a new project, you're going to notice that Google Flow has completely changed, and I'd say they've upgraded a lot. To use the Gemini Omni model here, just click on the Video tab, and from the drop-down, select the Omni model. Right now, it allows you to generate videos up to 10 seconds long, and it's going to cost you roughly 30 credits per generation. The big takeaway here is that Google has totally overhauled Flow, turning it into a legitimately good AI filmmaking studio. They've added a new characters option, which lets you create consistent characters very easily. They've also introduced an agent mode, designed to help you create much longer videos with minimal effort. Now, those are completely separate features, so we aren't going to dive deeply into them today, but if you want a complete masterclass on this massive new Google update, just comment Flow 2.0 tutorial down below, and I will make a dedicated video for it. Anyway, so I'm just going to upload a video of a character playing football. Alright, the video is uploaded. This is a clip I previously generated with Seedance 2, showing a man playing football and trying to score a goal. But there was a major issue with this original generation. There is no goalkeeper, and there are no other players on the field. So I want to ask the Gemini Omni Flash model something straightforward. I'll prompt it, hey, I want you to add a goalkeeper in this video, and also add some other players on the field. Since the Omni Flash model currently maxes out at 10 seconds, I'm going to trim the video down to 10 seconds first, just so the model doesn't struggle with the edit. Let's run the prompt and see what happens. Alright, the AI has finished generating. Let's take a look. Alright, well, we have already encountered a problem. Google is throwing an error saying this prompt might violate our product policies. I really don't understand what policies I could possibly be violating here, because this is a perfectly harmless, simple prompt. So as you can see, even if the underlying model is incredibly powerful, you can't actually use it to its full potential because Google's censorship is just way too aggressive. Let's try a different approach. Let me just ask the model to generate a video completely from scratch, right here inside the platform, and then we'll see if it lets us edit its own generation. I'm going to type in a very simple, innocent prompt. Create a video of a dog playing with another dog. This is as safe as it gets, so let's see if this actually works. Alright, finally, the model successfully generated the video of a dog playing with another dog without any refusal blocks. Let's take a look at what it made. As you can see, the movements are actually pretty natural and quite good. It's definitely not on the elite level of Seedance 2, but the upside is that Gemini Omni Flash is significantly cheaper to use and much faster at generating. So for simple, everyday generations like this, there is a massive upside. Now that we have a successful generation, let's test the model's editing ability. I'm going to ask it to change one of the dogs into a cat. That's the only change. Just swap one dog for a cat within this specific video. Let's run the prompt, wait for it to process, and see what happens. Alright, the AI model successfully swapped the dog for a cat. Let's watch the playback. If you look carefully, you will see that sometimes the cat does not mirror the movement of the previous dog that we replaced it with, but most of the times it perfectly mirrors the movement of the dog, so we have to say that the Gemini Omni Flash model works pretty well in terms of video editing. That brings us back to the main problem, Google's overwhelming censorship censorship. It censors you even when you're uploading completely AI-generated content, though there should be absolutely no ethical or policy issues with editing them, yet Google still block them. Setting the safety filters aside, the Omni Flash model itself is very fast, and structurally it's a really nice piece of tech. I originally thought we would get to see Veo 4 at this year's Google I/O, but it seems like Google is pushing that release back. For now, the heavy-handed censorship is a huge roadblock for Omni Flash, especially since most creators are going to use this specifically to edit footage they've generated elsewhere, or even actual real-world footage. So, that wraps up my brief review of Gemini Omni Flash.